we are in the middle of one of the most historic beefs, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you.
You want to ask me because I'm Canadian?
Yes.
There's nothing like bombing in front of 200 of your friends and then having to hang out with them after.
And they're all like, that was good.
like.
That wasn't bad, right? Everyone's just lying.
Yeah.
Black is a dominant gene over white, right?
I guess so.
Oh my God. Clap it in, clap it out. You guys know what this podcast is all about.
Boom. We have a special guest in the studio with us.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I gotta
He's got to take this out right away.
Well, you just doing that to be cool?
I know. I wanted to try it genuinely because he said that it's the best way to consume nicotine. So.
Isn't that the new chewing tobacco?
It's kind
Without
of.
having the dip and spit?
So there's no tobacco. It's basically if they made chewing tobacco vape. Like it's just the nicotine.
So is it like Nicorette? It's like just gum with a little bit of nicotine?
Kind of, but you don't chew it. You just put it in your lip. And then it just sits there and you just get a buzz of nicotine the entire time.
All right, guys, we're not getting paid.
That's almost, guys. It's a little gay to have something like that in your mouth all day. I know people just all day. I have my boy Matt, who just did our podcast last week. He literally went through a pack of Zins a day.
No, I'm not that crazy. I'll do like one when I have something. Like if I'm streaming, podding, whatever.
Why, is it just an anxiety thing?
No, it gives you alertness, focus.
A high?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel that right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm like ready to talk about
Well,
it.
first of all, let me do the intro and then continue on.
Then we'll get it,
We have a comedian, which is very rare. We get comedians in here, so we're really pumped about it because
Right on.
A, you can hold your own and you're funny. And usually we're talking to like, I'll make fun of the other guests.
We love them, basically.
We love them, but it's like we have to do a lot of the heavy lifting sometimes. So in the studio with us, Che Durena.
Yeah, thank you.
But give me the full name.
Che Ernesto Andre Durena. Or if you want to put the flavor on it, Che Ernesto Andre Durena.
Ooh.
Yeah, you
I like
all
that.
those R's, yeah.
I'm so jealous of middle names. Like Russians, I don't know about Ukrainians. Like Russians don't get middle names, or you take like your dad's name and it becomes Alexander. It's like so weird. So my mom has like a male middle name.
Okay, so her
You take your dad's first name and then you add a Vich.
Yeah, you just kind of make it cuter. You're like, oh, there's Sally. You can't call her Alexander, so you're like Alexandrovich now, or Alexandrovna, right? Or some shit. It's weird.
Or Oskarovich.
and you just throw that in the middle, and then you're just like, now let's just keep on moving. Well, I feel like the Russians are efficient though. They're like, what are we wasting fucking time?
Yeah, what do we need middle names for?
Yeah, we're just like, let's go.
Why are there such what's the point of so many middle names? Are you just honoring legacies and families? Is that what it is?
I have no fucking clue. I think they used to have a meeting, but now they're just kind of in there. Now it's just like a barcode.
It's nice that you went with Che, right? Because some people will be like, oh, I'll go as Ernesto.
Che's a good name though.
Yeah,
Che is a great name.
it's good. It sticks out. I'm
kind of annoyed at it because I'm jealous.
What's your name?
Val.
Yeah, well, this is our first time meeting.
Yeah, but when you do it, it's like when you write it out though, it's like Valentine. So it's just like
it's annoying.
And mine's Kirill.
Che is fire.
I don't know. Valentine's good, dude. Valentine's like
could be a woman.
Maybe.
Pretty
They're like they
woman.
left off.
I think I see like the villain in like a Bond movie or something.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because
You need more scars though.
The comb over helps. Yeah.
He needs a scar though, like the Bond villain who's got that teardrop scar.
Well, Bond gives him the scar. That's the thing. And then he's like, I always remember you. Like I had this perfect face.
And you're angry because you have a woman's name. So that's where the evil comes from.
Yeah.
You're like constantly.
We're writing your backstory right now.
That's it.
We could flip this into a porno. We started like this.
Shit.
Everything always leads back to a porno.
It does.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, porn makes more money than Bond movies.
It does,
Probably.
man. Porn is crazy.
What, accounting wise?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pretty sure.
It's cheaper
Bond makes a lot more money than
to
porn.
make a porno than it is to make a fucking $300 million Bond movie.
That's true.
John Mulaney had that great bit where he's like, a summer blockbuster. They're like, it cost $100 million to make. And he's like, you didn't even need to make the movie. I would have just paid $20 to see $100 million.
Yeah.
Quick math question. Do you think a Bond movie makes more money accumulatively for what porn does in a year?
All of porn?
No way.
No
way.
shot, right?
I can tell you how much Bond.
What piece? How much of a piece do you think?
The Bond movie is literally
Revenue-wise.
a speck.
Yeah, but you know that like travels into the Heineken, into this, into that. Like there's so many like because Heineken stands on the Bond movies, right? Or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like how much money can they fuck?
Bro, I don't wake up every morning and want to watch Bond.
Because trust me,
I wake up every
Jews
morning
are smart. They're not dumping $500 million into a movie just to not see any money back.
They're getting their money back.
Right, but there's not the same amount. Let me tell you this. Do you know the infamous story about porn is porn dictates technology?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the reason the VHS came out versus Betamax.
Yep.
Betamax was Sony's tech to do like these like bigger tapes, and it was better
quality.
But porn chose VHS, so everyone chose VHS.
Because then you could start getting porn and taking it home for the first time, besides magazines, like video porn, and have it in the comfort of your own house. That was like the beginning of people really like consuming it.
That's the beginning of a mental illness.
Yeah, dude. A new addiction.
I mean, what's the difference between watching some violent movie and watching a porno movie, right? Both you can argue, have negative effects then.
And Roy
right?
Scovel has a great joke about porn. He's like, I call porn films. He's like, did you see The Whale? It's like, yeah, did it make you come? That's a movie.
Yeah.
Films
I just
make you
don't
come.
go back to
Films
the Bond
make you
movie
come is great.
as much as I would to a porn movie.
Exactly.
But would you say
it's more of an addiction?
porn has that returnability?
Well, yeah, like I said,
Replay value.
I don't
Yes.
wake up and watch Bond every day, but I will. I load up
jerk off
Pornhub.
quite a bit.
This leads me into the next topic.
Okay.
What's the next topic?
Sorry that we're going very fast right now.
Oh, it's
the Zin
okay.
hit
This
me.
is-
He's buzzing right now. Look at him go.
Replay value. Okay, we are in the middle of one of the most historic beefs in the world.
Yes.
In the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Kendrick Lamar versus Drake.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you.
You want to ask me because I'm Canadian?
Yes.
I have some
Or
investment
because
in
you're
this.
like darker skinned.
Because okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
okay.
have a little, ooh, you know, a little.
Can you say? Are you legally allowed to say the N word?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I can say
Damn.
that. You guys can.
You have a little flavor.
if you want. Yeah, yeah.
Let me
I like
ask.
that.
So the dad is Haitian.
Yes.
The mom is.
My mom's white. Dad's black.
So according to Rick Ross, you're a white boy.
Oh really?
Right now.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah.
Dude,
You take your
they're-
mom's?
No, Rick Ross is calling Drake a white boy nonstop, and they're basically saying to Drake, "Stop using the N word. You're a white boy."
Because the mom is white and the dad is black?
So that's the beef right now.
So they're saying it's like a Jewish thing? Like unless you come out of a black
they're
pussy,
saying
you're
you
white?
don't really got the credit right now to be dropping the N word in your lyrics constantly.
I see.
You're vanilla. You're a white boy. Stop trying to be down with us. You're a culture vulture.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you drag Drake into the South, someone's gonna yell the N word at him. So
Yeah,
I
oh,
think
yeah,
like no one's
absolutely.
gonna yell it at me. No, right?
Well, the thing about being mixed race, it's always like if you're around black people, you're light skinned. If you're around white people, you're black. You never are fitting in perfectly in either.
checkmate.
Yeah, that's how it always.
So you're
is.
kind of fucked either way. You're unaccepted by both cultures.
Excuse me. He's not fucked. That's a win.
No, he's saying when you're around black people, you're more white.
Yeah.
And when around white people, you're more black. So in both situations, you're not getting the credit.
Luckily, being Canadian, we're very like chill with the multicultural thing.
Right, you guys
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah, Canadians are a lot more civil when it comes to the racial stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
because you guys have think about how big that country is, but realistically, people kind of live in like half of it's uninhabited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So it's like almost every city has enough cultures there. But you go to fucking Birmingham, Alabama, you're like, there's not enough cultures there to wash away people's hatred.
Yes,
Where you're
absolutely.
like,
That's a great way to put
where
it.
it's like, it's like I might hate other cultures in New York, but I'm not racist, right? Like I appreciate them, but I just don't.
Let's
like,
roll this back real quick. Which cultures do you hate?
I don't. You know what it is? It's not. I just hate everyone, right?
Yeah.
And New York makes you. It's like I don't dice people up into like who you are and what you are. I'm just like an angry New Yorker.
Yes.
So my hate might be misinterpreted as like, oh, you might hate me because I'm Asian. I'm like, no, I just hate you because everything's annoying in New York.
Yeah, that's
and you're
right.
all in like everyone's butt.
'Cause you're too close to me.
But I'll still appreciate every culture there because I've been surrounded by it.
Yeah. No, New York is a good place to get like inundated with multiple cultures constantly and to foster some sort of like hate. I think New York gives you a constant impatience with everything.
Right.
Like I was in Seattle or some shit and I was waiting for a coffee and the person in front of me was like, oh, I'll get like an espresso. And it was taking the person forever. And I had my first like New York kind of moment since living there where I was like, what's the fucking hold up? Let's fucking go.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
What's the holdup?
I think Chris Rock did that whole thing. He's like, in a fight, I think I should be able to say the worst thing possible to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
And if I have to cling to race, so be it, right? It's like, why should I have rules on, I'm just trying to hurt your feelings, right? If I pass an Asian lady who doesn't know how to drive in LA, like, what am I going to say? But, oh my God, these Asians don't know how to drive, right? I don't want them to not be able to have any rights. I want them to live a healthy life. I want you to have access to everything I have. But in that moment,
I want to be able to hate you.
I want to be able to hate you and hit you where it hurts. Like, God damn it. So open your eyes.
So going back to hating, what would you hate more? Would you hate more a person that beats his wife and pretends to be a slave freer, or someone that is accused of being a pedophile and being a culture vulture?
Okay,
Which
so
one-
wait.
which one was-
Let me condense that. So you're saying beat your wife, but you freed the slaves.
No, you're pretending to free the slaves.
You're presenting as someone virtuous. That's kind of Drake's
Is that
angle.
Kendrick?
That's
Kendrick is the one who's beat his wife, but he represents black culture and upholds it.
That's how
Apparently.
Drake's
And
attacking,
Drake
yes.
is a culture vulture.
But apparently he likes younger girls.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, what? So you've basically,
worse?
but Drake, you've named two negatives. At least Kendrick's got one positive, one negative.
But
Being
his positive becomes a negative because you're presenting as altruistic, but you're really
But you're not.
Yeah, but that's okay, right? It's like, I'm sure they said Martin Luther King probably beat his wife, right? It's like we're all human, right? You got to look at the good. In the words of Dave Chappelle, he rapes but he saves, right? About Bill Cosby.
Me personally, I would
And as
go
long
with
as
the Trent Hopper and the guy that likes a 19-year-old over a woman beater. And
Man, I
A
don't know.
19-year-old isn't a pedophile though. 14.
who is?
When he started sliding in the DMs, she was a minor.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Not photoshopped facts.
When she was talking about Drake was messaging me, oh my God, telling me like, if you need advice on how to be famous and all this stuff. And it seems like he was like planting seeds to like water them. Grooming. And there was also another chick who was a model and she was like 16. And then when she was like 18, he was like hanging out with her like. Billie Eilish is another one.
Right. I think you just like, I think you like Drake too much.
Definitely not hitting her. I know Drizzy. He ain't hitting on Billie Eilish.
How do you know
she's
Drizzy?
whack?
Are you kidding me? She's one of the biggest pop stars
No,
on the
she's
planet.
big, but she's weak. Do you think she's
Hanging out with Sexy Red.
Billie Eilish? She's got some big milkers.
I'd rather fuck Billie Eilish than Sexy Red.
I see. The thing with Sexy Red though is I just don't think I could handle the pussy. Like I think if Sexy Red fucked me, she would like rob me.
She
after.
fucks you.
She would fuck me and then she would like call me a bitch.
That's Young
and, like,
Thug, bro.
Right. She'd make fun of me in a song,
Yeah.
Billie
And
Eilish.
She looks like Young Thug.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying I think Drake is losing, and the defamation of being a pedophile is way worse than wife beater.
Yeah, because Chris Brown still has a career.
Sorry, I didn't know that she was. I didn't know that there was.
You said pedophile.
No, I thought it was like a 19-year-old chick he was hitting on.
It's not a pedophile.
Yeah. So I'm misinformed.
Yeah. No. I and in terms of just like lyrically and song and who's like beating who, Kendrick's dropped like 3 bombs in a row to I think Drake's 1. And then Drake just dropped another one. So I think Drake is losing just in terms of numbers right now. He's getting blitzed.
I just like, to me, Drake is a vibe, right? Drake music is a vibe,
Yeah.
right? I don't really listen for the lyrics. He has a few cool lines, but other than that, if you literally read it verbatim, you're like, this sounds like Dr. Seuss sometimes.
If I was teaching
Right,
English,
but Kendrick
I would
is
play Kendrick.
But Kendrick
Yeah.
is like actually speaking what, like when I listen to old school rap, I'm like, oh my God, there's some storytelling. There's something of more value than just like, rolling through the 6 with my woes or whatever.
That's where this all came from, though. It's because fucking J. Cole was like, oh, it's the big 3. It's me, Kendrick, and Drake. And then Kendrick was like, fuck all y'all. You big 3, it's like, you can't even touch me. What you guys do compared to what I do isn't in the realm of what I do. What I do is genius. And he's like, Drake, you're a pop star. And I don't even know what diss he had for J. Cole. And J. Cole made the smartest decision of his career to be like, I'm out.
To be fair, J. Cole, yeah.
I mean, I love J. Cole's shit, but I'm sorry, he's not like an icon to me, right? Like, I'd put Eminem on that list if you're going to talk about someone who can compete with Kendrick lyrically, right?
Yeah.
If you're speaking someone who painted stories with his words, as offensive as they might have been, it was still like beautiful storytelling.
Now that would be a beef. Right now, we kind of have 2 dudes who are like both multimillionaires or billionaires, just kind of like tossing stuff at each other. Nothing has been unveiled like when Pusha T smoked Drake.
Yes.
When Pusha T like revealed his son, that's fucking crazy. But nothing has come out from this except for the woman beater thing. If that is true, that's the biggest reveal of this whole thing.
That a Kendrick beat his woman?
Yeah, that's the biggest reveal. But if we get Eminem involved in this, if you have an Eminem Kendrick Lamar battle, that could actually be something.
But the problem in this country is more people can relate to hitting their woman than fucking a child.
But what does that mean?
Right? Like more people.
What's the justification?
There isn't. There
Is that
isn't
a problem?
No, because that's. I mean, if you look in the court of public opinion, that's how laws are made, right? If enough people agree about something, it becomes normal, right? And more people in this country are comfortable hitting their woman than or partner versus penetrating a child or trying to fuck a child, right?
I don't think that's a problem. I think
What's a problem?
You said the problem in this country is that more people are comfortable.
No. It's not a problem. I'm just saying that they're both problems, but one is more relatable, right? More people could be like, my white girlfriend's annoyed the fuck out of me. I've wanted to strangle her. Yeah. I've never been like, oh my God, look at that 12-year-old. They're hot, right? It's more relatable to hit your chick. So Kendrick will probably get more of a pass. It's why Chris Brown has a career, right? It's why most like football players still get to play sports after fucking punching their fucking girlfriend in the face. Because it's like
That's why OJ came out of jail.
Yeah, exactly, right?
That's it. So like
dude.
Kendrick's going to win as long as he never... The minute you touch a child, right? What's the rule I always say here? You can do whatever you want as long as you don't fuck kids. Do whatever you want. Yeah.
Some chicks
just depends what you're doing with the animal.
Dude, this guy's a dog. I love it. The Zin's got him in a new sphere.
You got me fucked up with the Zin. I'll be honest with you. I'm ready to do a bit.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about Zin is like Red Bull to me because it's a brand name and I don't know anyone else competing with them, right? It's like you're asking for, you're not like, oh, give me a pouch, right? You're saying Zin. It's like Red Bull vodka. Like they've permeated the culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? When you say, oh, do you have a vape? You're not asking for the brand name. Yeah. You'll take whatever they give you, but...
Great market.
Juul had that for a bit, but then they got banned.
Right.
Yeah. So Juul had the market on a stranglehold, but then
and they made like $1 billion a week.
2 more years. Tobacco has a way with getting companies out of the way.
They're gonna try and fucking
the
fuck out of here.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part about this country, right? Is I'm all pro weed.
Yeah.
But you can't even depend on anything anymore because the way politics work is they can just roll shit back. Oh, right. Totally. One president is like, yo, weed's going to be legal. The next one comes in and is like, yo, never mind. Like, we're taking abortions away and weed.
Crazy.
So imagine having to start a business in this country now where there is no guarantees anymore.
Yeah. If you have an abortion clinic right now, you're losing cash.
Right. You better turn that into a weed clinic.
Yeah, man. Everything comes down to money. You know what I mean?
If I had an abortion clinic, I would just convert it into like a stair salesman and be like, just stand at the top and pop, and be like,
salesman.
It'll be like an escape room.
Yeah, we had an escape room where you fall down the stairs at the end.
You're like, oops.
Yeah,
we only accept pregnant women.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Are you pro-abortion?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You're a comedian. You're out in the streets.
Oh, dude, I'm out there loose with my dick, bro. I got a girl pregnant when I was like 17. And so my life would be completely different. And then I got another girl pregnant when I was like 20. And I didn't even learn about that until I was like 29.
Oh, wow. She didn't even ask you for money?
No. Well, in Canada, it's free.
Damn.
Yeah, rhythm problems or just big urges?
Well,
for you.
Oh, what, for getting them pregnant?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I guess it was just being a little loosey-goosey with the dick. Those were the early years, right? So I didn't know. My pull-out game was weak back then. You don't have the training like you do now.
Yeah.
Now I'm post-vasectomy. I've had a vasectomy, so I'm fucking
Are you really? Why? Because you're that...
well, yeah, because I don't want the slip up. Having a kid now would really fuck a lot of my shit up.
And you live in America, so you can't go to Canada to like...
Yeah, to
abort these babies.
Yeah, get it vacuumed out or whatever. And so now if I want to have a kid, like if I meet a lady, we settle down and she goes like, hey, I want kids, I can reverse it.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, you can
I was about to say, that's big decision making. I'm very indecisive. I wouldn't be able to get a vasectomy, bro.
Yeah,
if I couldn't reverse it.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah. And my vasectomy was chill too. A lot of people have them and they're horrible. They'll have like a bunch of pain and all sorts of shit. I was like maybe 2 or 3 days where I was a little uncomfortable and then I was back.
Damn, you're a beast. That's cool.
Yeah, I want one, but I'm just too lazy. My girl's on birth control, so it doesn't. And she's like 41. So one way or another, I'm like, the kid's gonna be aborted. We're gonna abort it, no matter what.
So you said you've been out in the streets. Any interesting stories recently?
Oh, interesting stories out in the streets. What's a good?
Who's got them? So you travel around.
Yeah.
You do stand up.
Yes.
The life of a stand up comedian is usually, from my experience, full disclosure, I dropped out of college to hang out with comedians in New York.
Okay, sick.
So I used to work at Caroline's, Comedy Cellar, all those clubs.
Yeah.
So I have my comedy history, and I know you guys sleep exclusively with waitresses at comedy clubs.
Try not to. But
it's just like too easy not to, right? Like everyone's, what are they called? Chuckle fuckers?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like a groupie for a comic.
Yeah. And the Comedy Cellar are called cellar dwellers.
And there's more and more now. Comedy has become so popular that like now chicks hanging around to fuck you for being a comic is becoming way more mainstream. I typically only fuck fans. You don't want to fuck the staff, because if you fuck the staff and anything like, oh, he was an asshole, he's a dick, blah, 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 then you're like, that's fucking with your money. So
Right.
you want to stay away from that. So I try to strictly fuck fans.
That's an aggressive line, by the way.
What?
I strictly fuck my fans.
I strictly fuck
because
my
there
fans.
is a power dynamic there, right? But it's not. I mean, I've only fucked my fans, really.
I think for me, because my content is so overtly sexual, people are sliding into my DMs with that intention, and it's kind of all laid out on the table. Like, yeah, I'm kind of a dog. I'm out there, so there's no surprise. Like you fuck me and be like, oh, you just fucked me and left. It's like, yeah, that's the deal.
I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
but
Do you ever like be like, yeah, like to get laid? Because I would totally use it. Is that a fucking spider? In the
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been running around here for a little bit.
That's good luck. Do you like? I would totally. If I was a comic and I'm like trying to get laid, I'd be like, yeah, Netflix special coming out soon. Like I would just lie about everything. Be like, yeah, Dave Chappelle's taking me on tour, blah, blah. I'd put like my mom's number, but put Dave's name instead as the contact.
see, I've always been like honesty all the way through, because that gets you out of a lot of problems. Like anytime you're trying to fuck chicks or hook up or whatever, you just tell them the flat out truth of who you are, what your intentions are, what you want to do. And then you avoid any backlash of them being like, well, you said this was going to happen. You said you were going to take me out. You said we were a thing. And it's like, then you just don't have to worry about any of that.
Right.
That's
I mean, I have to lie to get laid, or I used to.
You?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would lie. I think I would lie emotionally. Like I would tell girls like, oh, I'm like, I could see us together. Like I would do anything to appeal to their emotional side, because I wasn't going to appeal to their like attractiveness side, right? Like they're not going to look at me. I don't walk in a room and girls want to jump my bones, right? So if I got talking to you, I'm going to say anything it takes to get you to ignore this face.
See,
And be like, oh, this guy's a good guy.
I also don't have game. I have zero game.
You don't need to. You stand on stage with a microphone. That's your
it.
game. Like girls appreciate a guy with that much power.
Like if I'm talking to a girl, I don't have like a move, like a fucking suave thing. I'll just be straight up be like, hey, you want to grab a drink? And then just chop it up for a bit. And then afterwards be like, you want to go back to the hotel? And like, that's it. Sometimes you just send the message like, hey, do you want to come to my hotel room? And then it's like fucking.
But I don't think there's a go-to move for like suave guys. I think it's just like comedy, right? You kind of adapt to the room.
Yeah.
You kind of just adapt to the audience. Meaning like if the chick is a certain way, then you kind of
chameleon
either
your
more
way in
funny, either less funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The risk,
Hide some of your opinions,
Right.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It becomes. I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Black is a dominant gene over white, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
I'm assuming you have a black penis.
Like in the color wise?
Well, both color and
I have
dimensions.
a good sized dick. He's not crazy. He's not small. He's not crazy big. He's like a good slim fit size, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like 7 on my tippy toes. That's how we're rocking.
I mean, you kind of have the Drake Degrassi vibes right now.
Oh, really? That's not good.
Let me pull up Oscar. Can you pull up Drake and Degrassi? I thought he has that famous photo in the wheelchair and he's got the little fro. And he's like,
I'm gonna have to.
Oh, he does, right?
Drake wheelchair.
I'm gonna have to.
You
cornrow
forget,
this.
like Kendrick's from the streets and Drake played a fucking Nickelodeon character. Oh no, he didn't.
No, he didn't have that. Yeah.
Oh, when did he have the fro? I don't know. Maybe I'm just racist. I remember him being more black.
You're just putting a fro on him in your memory.
Yeah, it was small. It was just like a small little
Yellow
fro.
puff. Oh, dude.
Oh, what a lucky guy. Oh, that's great. Was that Undercover Brother?
Anchorman
Oh no, that's
2.
Anchorman too.
Oh, they were throwing him in there.
That's a good look.
Yeah, when you get the leather jacket and the afro, it is a style. The sideburns.
That's a vibe scheme.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a little bit. I like that you don't have the sideburns though. I like the.
How old are you, dude?
31.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got great hair.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
got
sticking
the-
around.
Yeah, that's like mine isn't. I'm pretty soon gonna who's got the worst one? LeBron?
Yeah.
Who's got the forehead that ends right here and then they like paint it in or something?
Are you going to do the turkey trip?
I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
I think so.
You're going to go in there and get plugged? I think it's like, why not? I got a buddy who did it. It looks great.
It does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to do it because I think it'll add so much. It'll make me look easily 10 years younger. Whoa. Shaq doesn't care because no one can see his fucking top of his head anyways.
Yeah, dude.
He's 9 feet tall.
That's
Yeah.
a whiplash hairline right there.
To be like, this is what it is? Oy,
Yeah, literally.
oy, that is a wild hairline, dude.
That's your
so
Shaq.
big.
He had his,
He looks like Beetlejuice in here, no? Yo, this guy is looking.
it's gotta suck to be that big, right? Like when I see dudes that big, you're like everything in your life is. If Shaq didn't play basketball and become famous, like what bed is he sleeping in, right?
Dude,
what car is he driving? Everything. If he had to fly commercial and coach, if he was a bus driver going on vacation to Hawaii.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, fitting him in the plane is like him fitting his dick in a little white girl.
You hear some of the stuff about Andre the Giant? Andre the Giant, because he was so big riding planes and stuff, he would have to be like in the like laying out in the aisle and all sorts of shit. He would have to do stuff like he took a shit on a plane once, and because he's so big he can't close the doors, and his shits were like massive and fucked because he would eat like crazy. He holds the record for the most booze drank in one sitting. He drank like 153 beers in one sitting, so he would take crazy shits. Yeah, there he is on a plane, and that's with like a little more legroom and shit.
Dude, that's what an average American looks like now, though.
Yeah,
that used to be a freak, and now that's most of America.
But he shit on a plane and people were apparently crying and puking because the smell was so vile and it like drifted into the into the rest of the plane.
Dude,
and
massive.
He also did a thing where he took a shit in it. So when he was in Japan, he couldn't use the toilets because they were too small. So what he would do is he would shit in the tub in like a towel or in like the shower curtain, and then he would wrap it up and throw it out the window into the garbage, like fucking bomb this thing.
That's
apparently
insane.
He hit a guy with it once with one of his massive shits.
Damn. Did he have money, you think? Or he was
Andre
like
the
during the
Giant?
era still of like where they consider that a freak versus like it was like monetizable, right? Where now Andre the Giant would be one of the biggest influencers, right? He'd have brand deals.
So he made like decent money. But he wasn't the top. Like he was one of the top guys, but he wasn't fucking Hulk Hogan. Like he, hey, 10 million.
Not bad,
back
but
in the
like
70s?
but how much of that was spent on his lifestyle, probably, right?
Yeah, true. And he was in constant pain too. That's why he drank so much.
Yeah, but the resources pay for itself too, right? You get anywhere, you do anything you want.
You can't do anything you want. That dude can't ride roller coasters. Can't, like, think about how much like he is essentially like, imagine.
I love
like,
how you said that roller coasters are a necessity.
No, but but you're talking about living a good quality of life. Like, what can he do? He comes over to your house, he breaks your couch.
Yeah.
Right? He can't
I
sit at
guess
your
you're
dinner
right in
table.
that sense.
Like, he can't.
It's like
he's
having an
literally
overly sized.
It's like
penis.
imagine you walk
Can't
over
enjoy life.
to a home. Right.
Yeah.
And they have everything little. And you're like, I like, this is cute, but like, I don't.
This is cute.
I feel like I'm at like a Keebler elf's house.
All these midgets that I'm visiting all the time in their houses.
Yeah.
I feel like I go into like almost a hobbit's house when I go to London. Like some of the
Yeah, but you're
Airbnbs,
close to a hobbit.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that, can you imagine Andre the Giant showing up to this house?
He can't show up.
You go to Amsterdam, he can't fit into that house.
Who's he fucking? He can fuck fans, right? Because the only people that are going to fuck him realistically are people who want the experience, right?
Yeah,
who are like, oh my
fucking
God, I want to
this
fuck Andre the
giant
Giant.
WNBA players, yeah, like
Yeah, you could probably smash a few of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the one that was locked up in Russia, she would take him.
Yeah, Brittany Griner.
Yeah,
You ever see her with her shirt off?
nah,
Like-
It's crazy.
Brolic?
Look, she has like a dude's body.
Really?
Yeah. You never see.
You have to though when you're an athlete like that, right?
I mean,
You can't be playing a WNBA and have like double D's hold like.
Well, what's her name? Serena Williams has a hot body. She's like fucking stacked, dude. Fat ass, fat tits. But yeah, Brittany Griner, no shirt. If you take the head off, you would be like, that's a dude's
Serena
body.
Williams.
That
Like,
literally looks like fucking Tyga. Not Tyga. What is it? Ty Dolla $ign? Oh,
Yeah.
God, I'm
Williams reminds me though, like she has a body where if like we needed a sub to help build the, like pyramids in Egypt, she would help out.
Jesus, a slavery joke. God, pal.
No, but I'm saying she
Do you
just got.
think help? Do you think
she got
the,
mass.
they were helping out?
She
when
got
they were building the
mass.
pyramids?
Yeah, it was a volunteer.
You guys mind helping us build
Well,
the
we
pyramid?
haven't figured out how they built it, so to me, it's help. You know what I mean?
It's
where you
definitely not
guys-
help.
Where you guys fall on that? You think it was aliens? You think it was just manpower?
I mean, bro, they can't explain it, so I don't know. The math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote it, but like once again, Andrew Schultz has a great joke about that.
Yeah.
He's like, the pyramids in Egypt, right? They're always like, who did it? Aliens, blah, blah, blah. He's like, there's pyramids in Mexico and nobody questions who built those.
Yeah.
He's like, Mexicans,
Yeah.
right? He's like,
They were working their ass
Yeah.
off.
It's a good reversal now on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I think it was just people. They were just fucking doing it. They had nothing.
yeah, I mean,
think
what,
so?
you really think it's aliens? Aliens came down, built the pyramids and pieced out?
No, but architect wise, like if we were to, look at the measurements and everything, it's like the things that they mention in some of this thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty on point.
And they say they were like power plants, like they had electrical power and all sorts of shit. Yeah.
I mean, we're not educated enough to dissect architecture and like old buildings. I mean, Romans built the roads that are better than ours right now.
Yeah.
They still
Right,
there.
like-
I think there's a city right. They
Meanwhile,
still
you
use it.
drive down Ventura Boulevard here
It's
and
fucked.
literally break my entire transmission
Well,
suspension.
over here, this is all Band-Aids. Over there, it's like longevity.
And I think then it was like, well, we don't have the means to keep fixing it. Now it's a business. Your roads break. company comes in and fixes
pharmacy.
it. Yeah, and it's like, exactly. It's like, we want them to break because then we can keep making some cash.
What is that, planned obsolescence it's called?
I think that's the thing. Yeah, you want your shit to get shittier because then we can keep selling you shit that's all going to go in the ocean, and then the oceans get fucked up, and then we make a business cleaning out the oceans and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, I have stock in Apple, right? I'm sure. And then you talk about like, I want my iPhone to be able to last.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I need these things to break a little more frequently so the stock goes up, right? So it's just kind of like we're all guilty of wanting both the good and the bad of it.
I think if we just like, I don't know, repurpose our needs, we won't want both. It's because we live in a society right now where we're like, oh, we got to make this more money, more. If we lived in a place where there was a level of satisfaction we get to where everyone was comfortable, maybe we wouldn't be chasing that dollar.
But we believe too much in hierarchy, right? I want to be better than you always, right? That's just the mentality of like humans, or at least my mentality, right? Like, oh, I have this and you don't have that. And so it's hard to live in a society where everyone's equal because you're like, oh, it's boring. if I have a jet ski and my neighbor has a jet ski and that guy has a jet ski, I'm like,
I know, I'm a big proponent of like the experiences. So like me and a few buddies, we would go to my buddy's cottage and we would just like chill there and fucking do mushrooms and go for hikes. And he has this really bum ass cottage. Like the toilet didn't work. We would like ride a bicycle down to the lake because there was a toilet there and we would go take shits.
Like a Ukrainian toilet, like where it's just like a wooden shed and you just...
No. It was like plumbing. It has like the stuff
I was about to say.
But the entire time we're there, we're having an amazing time. We're laughing. We're like laughing the most in a condensed period of time I've ever laughed. We're hanging out and having such a good time. And my buddy goes, this is what it's all about for me. Like if you could do this on a yacht or you could do it here, the experience is the same. And sometimes you get on the yacht and you're around people that you don't vibe with. The connection isn't good. And you get to tell people, I was on a yacht with so-and-so, but the time you had there wasn't really worth it.
Right, the materialistic surface level, it looks dope, but the actual experience is nothing to write home about.
So I'm like focusing on the actual experiences with people, friends, family. I think that's the main focus I try to dedicate my time to.
Yeah, I agree with that. The problem is we then have to exit that fantasy after the weekend and be like, fuck, I have bills and responsibilities. And oh my God, what if my mom gets sick? I need to be able to take care of her, blah, blah, blah. That's why in your head, you're probably like, I want to be and sell out Madison Square Garden as a comedian. And you're like, I should get paid more than some guy at the Comedy Cellar who can't, right? Not all comedians should be equal. Everyone should be paid the same.
I'm not saying everyone should be paid the same, everyone equal. I'm like, you definitely want that stability. You want to be able to make enough money so you don't have to worry, so you can take that stressor out of your life. But the way we've structured things has increased that need all the time. Like real estate's becoming unaffordable. All these things are becoming harder. And if we can move things into a position where there's more of a base level of like, I don't need to worry about my healthcare as much. I don't need to worry about where my money from or if I can afford a home for just the general public, then we'll be in probably a happier society, I would think.
Right, I agree with you. I just don't think you could go back to that. There's too, you know what I mean? Like, dude,
I don't think we're going back.
Yeah, like the food pyramid has been disproven to be paid off by the sugar lobbyists, right? By farmers, right? So everything has been so corrupted that you'll never get those. We literally need to like have a nuclear war and start from scratch and be like, guys, let's try it this way.
Yeah, because I'm a big believer of like all these little things. They're like, oh, there's this protest going on at this university, or they're reading books to the trans people reading books to kids or whatever it is. All these things are that's fluff. What people need to realize, I've said this before, we need like a Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan came through and he went to all the little hut tribes and he was like, listen, we are all infighting with each other and our enemy is China. China's been fucking us for so long, and they came together and they were able to dominate. So we need all of these little groups, all these little tribes, whether you're a cop, whether you're BLM, whatever your belief system is, put all your disagreements aside and then look at these massive corporations that are fucking you on the daily.
Our Genghis Khan is Trump.
Could be.
But the problem with all that is the corporations aren't evil enough for us to give up their products. That's where the problem is. Like we can see the enemy, but we still need the enemy. I still love Coca-Cola. I love my iPhone. I love wearing my nice shoes. I love wearing the pants I wear. I love experiences. I love spending money on Disney trips. I love going to the movies, right? We all understand that's a problem, but we're also a little selfish and going like, I refuse to give up all these things to make a difference, because who am I doing this for? For my great grandkids one day might experience like utopia. Well, I only have one life to live. Like, I'm not going to live for the next generation. Like, I'm selfish.
I 100% agree with you. Things need to get worse before they'll get better.
Right.
Like people need to get pushed into a position like a generation or two from now where it's like impossible to buy a home, at least in America.
Right.
And then it's like all your food is tainted with weird chemicals and shit. You can't afford like grass-fed beef or any of those things. Once we get to that point, and then people are like, they have nothing. And once you have nothing to lose, then the scales will tip.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like the CEO of Nestle admitted on tape that he doesn't believe that water should be a human right.
That's insane.
Like then they bottle and sell water, and they literally show up and like just take, oh, this is a natural waterfall, whatever. I don't know where fucking they bottle this shit, but they literally just go, yeah, we're taking this water.
Yeah,
and I don't believe you guys should have a
in the name
human
of
right.
profit.
Yeah.
But you see, but that's the thing. You know the guy that created the company Hims? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess he is a Palestinian guy or something like that, or he might be of that descent. And I think he made some kind of statement that went kind of sideways for towards the Jews.
Yeah.
And then his stock just completely plummeted just now.
Yeah.
And he just came out and he's like, guys, you didn't understand what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why most people need to keep. That's why like the successful companies just keep their mouth shut. Like I don't know what the CEO of Coca-Cola thinks.
Are we looking at the hymns?
It's up.
Oh, it's back up. So he came out. He said something.
Can you go
that
back?
went
He just says Uno reverse. He's like, you know what? Turns out Jews have more erectile
Show the
dysfunction.
5-day thing. You're showing the 1 day.
There we go. There you can see the drop. Yeah.
You see that drop, Daddy? You see what I'm saying? See that dip?
You got to keep your mouth
Buy the
shut.
dip.
You just got to
Buy
keep
the
your mouth
dip,
shut.
dude.
Buy the dip.
Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah. That's what it all comes down to.
But you see, that's why racism is not as, it's more civil in Canada because they don't profit off of racism. Over here, let's battle each other. Let's have like
keep the dysfunction.
black own this and then white own this, and it becomes like a whole like, you know.
Well, you guys don't have a history of slavery like us, do you?
No. You guys got that entrenched.
Right. So like we have that.
Yeah. It's part of the being, part of the culture.
It's part of the code.
Yeah.
Oh man, heavy topics.
Yeah.
Cat Williams, did you see his live Netflix stream?
I didn't see his special.
He had like, you know, it is whatever. It's not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
We were discussing the fact that his last great special was the green outfit
Oh,
that
dude,
he did.
Pimp Chronicles Part 1.
Yeah.
That is not just his last great special, one of the best comedy specials of all time.
Hands down.
Unbelievable.
But he had on this last one a really good, strong closing bit about being like black people need to get reparations and that there are benefits to getting reparations. And one of them is white people will then be able to say the N-word because our debt has been paid.
Everything comes back down to just being able to use the N-word.
Yeah,
you realize that?
N-word
Well,
pass,
you know why they do? Because it's like people don't like being told what they can't do.
Yeah, and then
right, can't say. You know what I mean?
Well, also it's more like when something's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's like part of the culture, and you want to just kind of
makes
vibe
it so much cooler.
And it's like you just want to draw, but you can't. You're beat.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Just add the N-word to any statement. It just makes it so much better and funnier.
Oh, dude, you have to be careful about how you use it on stage because it's like an easy punchline. White people love it when you say the N-word on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they fucking eat it up.
Yeah. Dude, we did, so...
You know why? Because it's like we can laugh.
They're like, oh my God, yay.
Yeah. And it just adds that it's seasoning. That's what white people don't have. The N-word is seasoning to a sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I hate? One thing I hate about the white subsection is
Subsection. We're not a subsection.
I hate being put into a certain category of whites. Like Ohio whites are different than Ukrainian and Russian whites.
For sure.
You understand
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like our culture in Ukraine and Russia is we're also in front of the buildings with one-piece suits, fila suits, hanging out. Before we even knew what's going on in America, before the internet even made it.
Where do you think that influence came from?
I just said before it even made it out there. You know what I mean? Before we didn't know. We're just eating seeds, squatting.
You
know
were
what I
the
mean?
Ukrainian
you don't
Beastie
see black
Boys?
people squatting in front of the building eating seeds in a shit position.
No,
you know
you're
what I mean?
like, we were on this shit before.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. And then you come here and you're trying to join the vibe, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's not for you, bro.
Imagine you experiencing racism. People washing you with one color and saying, "Hey, you're a whitey."
I don't want to sound like a victim. I'm just saying.
You just sound like you're trying to find loopholes to the N-word.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, I squat, I eat seeds. Like, give me like
Why does
I don't
have cheat codes and I can't have them in real life?
Well, it's the color of your skin lets you get away with more. If you
This
wear a
guy
hoodie,
at an emergency room yesterday, like a black dude was like, "Hey, brother." There was a Spanish lady next to him, and he kind of was being a little annoying, and she's older, and she kind of looked at him like this, and he goes, "I'm sorry, ma'am. It's an accident." And then she's Spanish and she couldn't speak, and he looks at me. He goes, "Can you translate to her and tell her that I'm sorry?" I go, my brother, I'm not Spanish. He goes, "Yeah, you are. You're Mexican, no?" I was about to run with that. I'm like, yo, maybe I'll keep that.
Yeah,
You should.
Maybe you should pick up Spanish.
Yeah, but then I also heard him in the room over asking for methamphetamine. So
okay. Yeah. So maybe he was just a little loosey.
really delusional. So
I mean, if Canelo is Mexican, you could pass for Mexican. There
He's
you go.
albino.
Yeah. Albino, the red hair, all that kind of stuff.
Dude, there's Jewish Mexicans. I learned about that.
yo, he is Mexican though. When I found out he was Mexican, I was mad confused.
Yeah.
Honestly,
He's not what you expect out the gate. He's like the king of Mexico.
I think I've told you this, or I probably mentioned on the podcast. One of my ex-girlfriends is this girl, smoke show, white girl, dad, Haitian.
Yeah.
Mom, I think white. Mm-hmm. Her Instagram at the time was Haitian black, like blank, not black. Haitian. I'm not going to out her, but like it was Haitian and then her name.
Yeah.
And dude, we'd go to dinners and we'd go out and she would drop the N-word.
And she didn't look it at all. She
She
like white
literally
passing.
looked like Val with a wig.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or me with a wig. And I was like, dude, do you understand the position you're putting me in?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who's going to get punched in the face for not controlling my girlfriend.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like, I had to break it off because she's a hot chick, dressed to the nines. Like, you're a girl. Like, you would take her out and people would be like, oh my God. But bro, when that mouth opened up,
and you're like, oh,
I was like, good. We're only going to go do white things from now on. Where
And she didn't get it?
No, because she's like, I'm black. My dad's black. I have the pass.
I mean,
it's part of my like.
There is, but there's an understanding between like black and white passing. If you're white passing, you know that you're not. The world's not looking at you
She's
the
a
same
woman.
way.
No one's gonna punch her in the face for it, right? So she has no consequences for her action. Yeah, maybe another black girl would. But like, what would she have to whip out family portraits and be like,
Yeah,
you know, before society started policing the word heavily as it is right now, like everyone's very like on their toes about it and eggshells. I used to go to Lincoln High School in Coney Island in Brooklyn, and it was predominantly black.
Yeah,
it was. And we had a few white kids that would just be part of the crew.
Yeah,
where we were all on the bus. We would take the B-36 back to a different neighborhood.
Yeah,
and we would just ride on the bus and talk. Sometimes there would be a white person that would drop the word and it would become so uncomfortable, it was so out of rhythm.
Yeah.
I would have to walk out of the bus.
Yeah, you're like,
no, I'm serious. I would actually get off at a stop that I'm not supposed to get off at.
Because you don't want to be there when it goes down.
Correct.
It's like the fucking, you guys saw the thing at the riverboat fight.
Yeah, the fight.
So my siblings are all half. So my dad had 2 kids and then my mom had a kid and then they met and had me. So I have like full black siblings and full white siblings. And my white sister, when she saw that, she was like, it just really scared me because what if we were in a situation like that where something like that happened? And she's like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like I would obviously be on your side, but everyone else isn't going to recognize me as that. And I was like, oh, you just leave. That's what happens. You just leave. The race war kicks off. You get the fuck out of here.
Legally, I think your white sisters can do blackface then.
You think so?
I mean, if they're black DNA wise and they're not.
No. She's full white.
Oh, she's full white. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I take that back.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend could go blackface.
Legally.
She's like, I'm allowed to do this.
I like the legality. It's like back in 1841, they passed the blackface law where if you were a certain percentage of black, you could go blackface.
Like they should, do you know how they check the window tints with that meter? That's how you should check if someone's like truly black, that you're 30% black. Yeah, sorry.
There's a joke, there's a fucking, what's it called? Family Guy. Family Guy has a joke like that where he gets pulled over by the cops. Yeah, and he's looking at like he's like, okay, not okay, like where you have to arrest someone based on the color. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is where the N-word.
Yeah, there it is.
That is essentially where the N-word isn't allowed by white people to be used, is because you don't have the negatives of being black, right? Like you aren't as victimized by the police, right? You're not judged differently. So they're like, yo, you can't use that word because you have too much privilege.
You're not
as
getting the experience that we're getting.
Right. You're like, you have to earn that, right? It's like someone being like, oh, I'm a comedian. It's like, do you perform at stage or at home? You're like, oh, at home. You're like, you can't use that name.
Exactly.
That's not your job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The N-word is a job. And you didn't get hired.
It is a job.
But if that's the case, though, to be honest, if that's the case, you know, like when Mia Khalifa comes out and starts talking about politics, we should also use the same approach with that.
What?
I'm trying to say, maybe.
Is anyone taking her seriously, though, when she starts...
I mean, bro, there's some lost people that will be like, she's right.
She's got
yeah, but I agree with her opinion to say what she wants, because a mechanic isn't just a mechanic.
But I'm saying resume-wise. I'm saying if we're going to keep the same standard,
no, why? She's not using
everything.
You know that's not true.
Am I right or am I
where
lying?
he's coming from. He's got a very specific...
You're saying she can't have an opinion on politics because she's a whore?
You said that like because we didn't have the same experience as a black person, right? Which is fair. because we are not born
Right.
black, then we shouldn't have, unless we have the same experience, then we might have a little bit of resume.
No, that's
like
different.
Ricky the white boy, you remember from Detroit? Like they had the movie about him. He was
No.
like a dealer.
Yeah.
And he was like the tokenized like white kid.
Yeah.
In Detroit. So they gave him that like, yo, you're one of us.
You
It's
gave
like growing
the
up in
best.
the wolf pack. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but
Because you had the same experience.
But what's Mia Khalifa saying?
She, I don't know what she's saying. I
No,
just
but
know,
my point is she's allowed to talk politics, right?
Oh yeah, of course, because she has a mouth. Obviously, she can speak. But I'm just saying, resume-wise, she's not a politician. She's
But
not
neither
really,
are you.
I'm not.
Neither is a mechanic, right? But
Yeah.
I'm allowed to talk about anything but my job too, right? Like I don't come home as a mechanic and like, guys, I can only talk about transmissions.
Oh, I know.
I can talk about politics.
I'm saying you can.
Well,
say
I'm just
whatever
saying,
you
Mia
want. I'm just
Khalifa
saying
is not the
resume-wise,
same.
He's just doing a bit.
Yeah.
He's just doing a bit
I'm
right now.
just doing a flip-a-rooney here.
Dude, oh man. Didn't she just start? She's been shitting on porn though. She's like really anti-porn now after doing porn.
She's into everything. Whatever
Yeah.
that week she's not in the mood for.
She's like, no.
I mean,
Coffee's
smart,
no
right?
good.
Stays relevant and makes money off of it.
no, I've been up to date on her in a while, dude. But I know her videos. are
So
still popping
smart,
off.
so smart to do what she did because she went against a culture that villainizes porn.
Yeah.
And it becomes such a clickbaity porn star, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she's
She
like,
did-
I don't like it anymore. I'm out. And now she's like going into that realm of being like, now I'm accepted by the public again.
Sick.
Right.
Yeah. Good. Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that's the dangerous thing about porn is it's hard to crawl back out of it.
I think we're shifting. I don't know if we'll fully always like get 100% of the way there, but it's more and more accepted every generation. Even going back to what we're talking about, like the VHS. Like before that, people were like jerking off in movie theaters. You would have to go to the movie. Like
So
during the
nasty,
movies.
no?
We still do that.
People still do that.
Catch a fucking.
But if you
Halle
got
Berry
like,
nip
what's his
slip.
name? Pee Wee Herman. He got caught in one of those. Then he like lost his career, and because like that was completely, it was disgusting. It was
And it's
shame.
legal.
And it was legal. Yeah. But then we get to like the VHS era. Then you have online. Now you have porn stars that are like Jenna Jameson was like the first kind of like celeb porn star, which a lot of porn stars don't give her flowers because apparently she never did like anal or any of that stuff. She did like only girl, like not a lot of boy, girl. And then you get to like our era where you like post Lisa Ann and all that stuff, where we have like a laundry list of celebrity porn stars. You have fucking Angela White, Annabella Danger, and all these people who are now like mainstream, super famous, all off of porn.
Right.
And I think it's only going up.
Right, but they're still too toxic for mainstream. That's the problem, is right. Like they're not getting a Coca-Cola deal, no matter how influential they are. Right, someone could look at Angela White and be like, "Damn, this girl moves eyeballs." Right, she should have X amount of brand deals, but like someone's like, this country is still too fucking Puritan.
But I think we'll get to the point where you have whatever platform it is, we'll start platforming these people because you have someone like if you put Angela White in something, she will move numbers and has a level of fame equal to like Sydney Sweeney or something like that. So someone is going to tap into that. Someone's going to be like, oh, let's throw these morals away because there's money on the other side.
Right.
And it all comes down to the cash.
It's going to take a long time. I mean, don't forget, fucking Sean Evans from Hot Ones had to dump his girl once everyone found out she's a porn star, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm sure enough people went, bro, you have a deal with like Complex and all this. Like, it's not good.
That's what it was?
Yeah, 100%. It's fruit of the poisonous tree.
I thought it was he didn't want to deal with the heat. Because then if it's public that your girlfriend does porn, your inbox is all going to be dudes fucking with you, sending you videos of her getting fucked, like all this shit, like just
I think there's a lot of people that just don't want to associate with the toxicity of pornography.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's still... Dude, I run this clothing brand, Assholes Live Forever.
Of course.
And whenever we go and design something and that we can't make ourselves, and we have to hit up a couple like vendors in America to make it before we're like, fuck it, before we go to China, where you got to wait on like long fucking production times and putting it on a boat. We're like, yo, can we make this in America? No, every time.
No, because no one wants to be associated with
No one wants
porn.
to touch this, the cursing, the bad language, the everything.
Because it can mess up the bag for them. You guys are all in on that. You know. They're a little scared.
I think comedians are the gray area between toxicity of porn and mainstream, because comedians can get away with being completely outlandish and still maintain, like Shane Gillis, a Bud Light deal while using words,
like
that
gay,
are gay, retard, whatever they want, right? They are the true tightrope walkers, because you guys are kind of, and this is, people have said this, are modern day philosophers.
That is a big opinion people have of comics. I will say that comics and porn stars have bordered each other forever because we're both on those outskirts of what is considered like mainstream and popular. Like comedies never win like Best Picture or at the Oscars, and you have these incredible movies like Jackass is an Oscar-worthy movie in my opinion. A very unique piece of content that is absolutely hilarious and entertaining from beginning to end. 100%. But so you have these two worlds that border each other. And so you have these big populations of people that are super famous, that are outcasts. And if they start working together and build their own thing that generates a lot of income, whether or not it's accepted by Coca-Cola and shit, they'll find ways to create the brands. And
I mean, these fucking porn stars are now making like $1 million a month. So they're financially set, but still they are treated as, lower class citizens by most of society.
You guys think it has something to do with intellect?
No. It has nothing to do with intellect. It has everything about shaming sex. This country shames sex.
Oh, in a huge way.
No, I just feel like, because social norms are kind of like...
You don't have to be dumb to swallow cum.
What do you mean?
That should be a shirt.
Either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like, how many people in this room are smart?
I would hope all of us.
Not really. Like, honestly, like, I'm sure there's enough porn stars.
What does that mean by smart?
Well, what do you mean by dumb? Intellect.
I don't know.
I think it takes a lot of intellect to monetize your body and make $1 million off of it.
And every time you meet porn stars and hang out with them, you're like, oh, these are very smart people.
Well, yeah, usually the top ones, especially.
Yeah.
Business-wise, they're very
bottom
smart.
ones. The bottom ones that exist in every industry. How many fucking dumb idiots do you have as friends that have normal jobs, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it has nothing to do with the intellect aspect. It has the fact that they chose what we deem as an easy way out, right? Yo, you're not sitting at the plant and there's no dignity or respect in your job.
Today. He's taking an attorney step today.
No, I'm just there,
I do agree with you that it is this underlying shame. It's like we have like an overlay of Christian values that sort of dictate a lot of the things we do. Like marriage is the way you're supposed to go.
I guess the religion,
the religion aspects of the shame we have towards sex is ingrained in the culture. And I think one of the reasons why I joke about it as much as I do is because I find things that are absurd very funny. And it's inherently absurd that sex is like how a huge part of your relationships. It's like a huge part of pleasure that people indulge in. It's used in marketing to sell shit, but we're supposed to feel ashamed of it. That in itself is a ridiculous dichotomy.
For sure. 100%.
Is there any bits that you've done that you've come close, or have you been kind of canceled, or people freaked out? Like, have you touched on certain subjects that are, out of pocket?
Nothing too crazy. I intentionally avoid politics because I'm not too politically savvy, and I don't want people to come to me for any sort of political advice. That's also not why I watch comedy. There was one video I made where I didn't even know what it was, but it was a lady doing this dance where she's like shaking her hips a lot. And I made a video about how like if your jizz went in there, it would get confused and turn around, go inside your own dick, and then impregnate your own balls, which was pretty funny. And then apparently it was like a Hawaiian traditional dance, and the Polynesian people got fucking pissed, dude. They're all like, all these Polynesian people are making videos about it, all this shit. But a lot of them were commenting on it, being like, "Yeah, I'm from Hawaii, and this is very funny."
Yeah, lights out, honestly.
Yeah, it's very, people laugh until it gets turned on them, and then they're like, "Oh, now you're mean spirited. Like, this is our culture. You need to respect our history." I'm like, I don't know who said this, and I know I didn't think of it, but it's just like, culture is old people's baggage.
Yeah, I think in school there should be a class, literally just 45 minutes a day, where you get abused and roasted by a professor.
Yes.
You know why? Because when you learn humility at a young age, you start actually understanding how everyone feels, and actually, like, you learn how to fit things in better, and you have more consideration and more gratitude, and you're not soft, you're not weak, you just get more ready for life, I feel like.
And I think you're less reactive. If something bad happens to you, you're not going to be like, oh, fuck you, how dare you do this, blah, blah, blah.
Right. You're not on guard, you don't take everything personal.
Yeah.
And it's very important because a lot of people like live this life are scared to be out there because they take everything personal, because they know that if God forbid they get into a certain situation, I wouldn't be able to handle this, and that's where the softness comes from.
And a lot of people would want to teach that class. You just get to roast kids.
Brother, I would love to be a professor to rip kids, bro. I swear, I would show up with a smile on my face every day.
Can we add a lesson to your class where every girl gets punched in the face one time?
Whoa.
No, they need to.
Whoa.
No. They just need to understand that they will have consequences for their actions, and they can't just go willy-nilly doing whatever they want.
Disagree with that.
You know what I mean? Once Kendrick, I'm on your team.
I love it. He's like, you know, we're too like, we shame sex. We need to have more sex positivity in this country. Like, we need to get away from all these stigmas. And he's like, and chicks need to get punched in the face.
No, but you know what it is, bro? I swear to you, I grew up in a school where I was a sore thumb in like socially, because I was one of the only white kids trying to get along with all the black kids from the hood. And I came from Ukraine. I didn't know what's going on. To me, I'm just trying to be friends with everybody and be cool.
Yeah.
But then I had to quickly learn that, if I'm going to be part of this wave, I better be taking the experience.
Yeah.
So I got abused, bro, all through high school. And then I came out of high school. I'm like, wow, that was the best thing that could happen to me.
Yeah, because it humbled you.
It was the best because it gets you ready. And as soon as I met him and then I started going through college and became a barber and all that shit, nothing affects you.
Yeah.
So your day-to-day life, you already wake up with a clear head.
Yeah.
And most people in their 20s or their 30s, they wake up fearing everything all day long.
I think, You know I mean, there's nothing you can tell me that I haven't said to myself.
Correct.
Right? So you can call me anything. People are like, oh, you're a fucking gay little and I'm like, yeah, I know. I'll kiss you on the lips right now. Thanks for complimenting me.
I know kids that are 30 years old, if I said that to them, and they might be smart, they might have a business, this, that, third, that will ruin their week.
Yeah, they can't get off of it. They'll never lose it.
Yeah, they don't know how to pivot. Be like, oh, you call me gay? I dress well?
I don't want to hang out with Val anymore. He made that joke.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yo, what?
There was a thing with fucking Bill Burr was on, I think, Opie and Anthony with, you guys know Patrice O'Neal?
Dude, I helped him move out of his apartment. I lived with Will Sylvans for fucking 4 years. You know Will?
Really?
Yeah, I moved. I got basically an ultimatum by my parents. Sorry to interrupt your story.
No.
But basically, I dropped out of college, and my parents were like, you have to pay to live at home. I was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay to live here and then still get yelled at by you guys about everything. So but Will was like my close friend of mine when I worked at a comedy clubs, and he said, Patrice is moving out. Do you want to take his old room?
Yeah.
And I helped Patrice like remove his sex swing and all this shit. It was wild. Yeah.
That's fucking sick, dude. He had a sex swing. That thing was probably bolted into concrete.
Dude, yeah, exactly. It's like Andre the Giant.
Dude.
For him, yeah.
But Bill Burr told the story on Opie and Anthony where he was like, Patrice ripped him about something, and then he was like festering on it for like fucking days. And the next time he saw Patrice, he's like, oh yeah, I do this, He like got him, and Patrice was like, you're still thinking about that? Like that's
and that even becomes even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
And
when you get hit with that, you're like, oh shit, I'm mad pussy.
Yeah. Right. But then those experiences help you be like, oh, I gotta let this shit go.
Yeah. Because you go home and you're like, I'm double pussy.
Right.
I'm pussy for reacting to the joke, and then I'm double pussy because he wasn't even thinking about me.
He's in my head right now.
Right. Yeah. I gotta get better to fucking, chirp back right away, because after that it's dead, right? Like, because Patrice throws those things out and they hold no value to him. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
But the fact that Burr went home and had to like think about it is what Patrice then clowned him for. I'm like, bro, that was a throwaway line.
Yeah.
You fucking sat there and thought about
still
this?
festering?
Like, are you kidding me? I got 20 more new ones for
Patrice
you.
passed away. He couldn't even get him back. He's like 4 segments behind. He's like, yo, I'm like 4 points behind. Damn, this guy passed away. Couldn't even get a good one.
But having that confidence, like, right, Patrice, do you know how he got to start in stand-up? Is he heckled a comedian.
Oh, yeah?
A comedian was bombing and Patrice started heckling him. And the guy's like, you get up here and do it. And Patrice was like, all right. And he just went up there and like riffed on a bunch of shit. But that comes with like a level of confidence. Patrice was big, right? Very... Dude, he'd make fun of me, and I'd be like, I don't know what to say. Are you kidding me? What am I supposed to say?
That confidence comes from the fact that you won't get hurt from rejection. You won't get hurt from getting ripped.
Yeah.
And you won't get hurt by what anybody thinks after the show.
Yeah.
Meaning that you walk away clean and clear. Be like, yo, I fucked up. Good for you. At least I got a couple of jokes. I had a fun night, and I forgot about it. But most people will come home and sit there for a month. Oh, my God. How am I going to survive this? So many people laughed at me. They're going to remember me. Nobody remembers you, bro. Everybody got so many problems. Yeah. Everyone got so many daily problems, and they're on Instagram scrolling. They don't even remember the last video they watched.
That's the thing I've said for a long time, is that it's the human ego. It's too big. It's an easier thing to think about. It's all about you, rather than to realize that no one gives a fuck about you. That it's like to think like people who are like, I know they're watching me or they're spying on me or this is happening to me or this person is fucking with me, they're thinking about me. That's an easier reality than to be like, no one gives a fuck about me.
Nobody can trigger me in this life vocally,
unless
it's somebody I really love and care about, or if it has something to do with money.
Well,
like
I think
a lot of money. You know what I mean?
People who love you and care about you also know how to get under your skin better than anyone else. Like me and my sister, we poke at each other constantly, and no one. I'll be like, I've been meditating, I'm Zen. No one can set me off like her.
Like me and my girl, like I will go, like I can have nuclear conversations with her because I know I know that. Bitch, where are you gonna go? Right, like at the end of the day, it's like, you know what I mean, like all the bills are paid, like I know I have a certain leeway, right? And there's certain people in this office that are employees that I can't talk to them the way I could talk to other people, just because I'm like, oh, they might leave and sue me, right? My girl's not gonna sue me for calling her a fucking right?
Dude. And it becomes leverage too. That's another problem. That's when I get angry. I'm like, fuck.
Are you in a relationship?
No.
Do you want to be?
I think now I'm just starting to shift into, like, I feel like I've whored for a long time. I'm kind of like tired of that. It's lost its luster. And I think having a chick is like everyone who I look at who is like successful and I admire, they're all like, having the chick at home was like one of the best parts.
But they all cheat on them. Right. At the end of the day, it's like you're going through a phase where right now you're like, I want a girl. But then when you experience like, you know, Madison Square Garden success, you're like, ugh.
Do you think
I gotta feel like I'm glad she's here, but like, look at the
look at all the
pussy. Do you think there's guys that kind of like have their fun, do their thing, and then they're like, yo, the shit is empty. I'd rather just have something stable at the crib and be comfortable. Do you think that happens without having to cheat? Do you think this successful guys is that a possibility?
No, I don't think so. It's weird, right? Because you got to think about the level of pussy that gets thrown at you, and you only have one life to live.
Joe
right?
Rogan cheats on his wife?
Yeah, 100%. Here's why, Val. You got to look at it this way, and I'm just gonna speak completely frankly. I don't give a fuck if my girlfriend hears this, but like, think about it this way. If I experience a level of success when Scarlett Johansson is drunk at a party and she leans and goes like, I'm gonna suck your dick right now, dude, that's one of the hardest decisions you're gonna have to make in your life, right? It's like, people are like, I want to go skydiving. I'm like, bro, Scarlett Johansson wanted to blow me.
Estee, make sure he doesn't become too successful.
But that's my point. Dude, I told Estee like that like there's a level of, if Estee was like, I got cornered by fucking Brad Pitt and he wanted to fuck me, I'd be like, you would be dumb to not have the experience in life. You would be dumb.
I do think that a lot of these guys have like agreements that they're like, hey, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this. Like, I'm out here getting like all the pussy is crazy.
I worked this hard to sell out Madison Square Garden.
It is.
Right? I worked this hard to sell out MSG. Mm-hmm. I am the man. I'm sorry. Like, after a night like that, I want to fuck some fucking unattainable pussy if it's thrown my way.
Like, right? Did you see the SpongeBob guy? The fucking guy who played SpongeBob on Broadway?
No, what happened?
Okay, so this dude who played SpongeBob on Broadway, he gets put in the Wicked movie, Wicked, another play. So they're like, they're doing a movie of Wicked. Ariana Grande is like the person they cast as the lead female role. And so they were doing a bunch of scenes together. This SpongeBob guy, he's with his high school sweetheart. They have 2 kids together. They've been together for like ever. And then Ariana Grande starts fucking making moves on him. Who, Ariana? His wife. So his wife's even pregnant. He cheats on his wife, leaves his wife, and starts banging Ariana Grande.
Violates everybody, huh? Dude, she gets everybody involved.
That's a power of pussy.
Olivia, a little crazy.
Olivia Munn did that to John Mulaney.
She got in there, dude.
Right? Like, you think about, like, you're a comedian, you're working your ass off, you finally get this crazy recognition, and an A-lister who you've seen on television is like, I want a piece of you for a night. You're like, damn, like
you gotta think you're SpongeBob on Broadway. You're like kind of a dork, like musical theater guy.
Kinda.
Yeah, like you are the definition of a dork.
I don't think in that level, like you said, the arrangements are like it's an experience versus cheating now.
Yeah.
Right. It's if AC/DC comes in here and goes, Kirill, you want to do heroin with us? I'm gonna say yes, because it's like, when are the chances I get to do that ever again?
Yeah.
And the same thing about like, yo, Scarlett Johansson's gonna suck my dick. Right. It's like, it's an experience. It's not even sexual at that point. If Scarlett Johansson said, you want to play tic-tac-toe, I'll say yes, right?
But if like you framing this to your girlfriend, it was an experience.
Babe, you could be there.
Yeah, make sure he doesn't get too many contracts this year. Make sure this company doesn't blow up too big.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's just
keep it in a certain spot, because
like that kind of level of success and fame, definitely. That's why.
I mean, you travel with Dave Chappelle. You travel with Chris Rock.
Yeah, but they're throwing pussy at them. I'm not Dave,
but
though.
You're around, bro. there's still you still got, you still got boop, boop,
but
breadcrumbs coming your way.
but the breadcrumbs aren't worth it to ruin my relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, you want that shit like
Scarlett Johansson. That's my argument, Val, is that it's got to be an A-lister.
You're saying you want like Miley Cyrus
I don't cheat.
coming at you.
I don't cheat just to cheat. That's why like it's if I'm that big. Okay, so this happened to me.
Basically, I said, just wanted to verify you're good. Don't worry, everything's gonna be fine.
This happened to me like 12 years ago. We went to I don't know how to pronounce it, Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
All of us from the Gold Bar crew in New York. We used to do these parties, and we did an after party. I think I had a girlfriend. I probably did, and we ended up on a boat with Lindsay Lohan. And that was the year she like lost her passport and couldn't fucking escape France. But I went to the bathroom on this boat, and this girl was like hitting on me. And I was just like not really paying her enough attention. I was like, whatever. I was playing the neg game with her, like negging her. She's like, oh my God. And I was a photographer. I take photos of her. She'd be like, ooh, like you can't show these photos because they weren't naked. She was just her hanging out. She's like, my publicist needs to see these before you post these anywhere. I was like,
about Lohan, but
no, it was another girl. And I was like, you don't have a publicist. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I was like, stop. Like I was just negging her. And it was to the point where it was getting like a little sexual, where she was like obviously turned on by the fact that like, who the fuck is this kid telling me I'm a nobody?
Yeah.
It turned out I woke up sober.
Yeah.
It was Hayden Panettiere.
Okay.
Right. I have photos of all of us on a boat. Like I was like, oh my God, I could have fucking bagged that chick.
Yeah.
If I had a girlfriend, it would have been worth it. Right. That's a story.
Yeah.
Even though she's not even like relevant anymore.
But she was at the time.
At the time.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like.
And that's when you want to get it.
Like
when it's the best.
You have one life.
Yeah.
You have one life to live.
Yeah. No, I do think that there is like, if you hit a certain level, I think some dudes aren't as tempted by it as other people. Like everyone has a different sex drive. Everyone has different temptations.
Right.
People are going to indulge in different things. Some dudes like the pussies, they're like, whatever. Like they don't give a fuck about
right. It's the drive.
It's just easier to be gay, right? Because gay people seem to have a more of an open relationship status.
Yes.
Right. So if you're a gay dude and you make it and you can go and be like, yo, I blew Will Smith last weekend, your partner is probably going to be like more permissive of that. It could be like, whatever.
Tell
like
me the story.
Yeah. Like, but you tell your girl, or you find out your girl blew Will Smith, you're just like,
what the fuck?
I'm never watching a Will Smith movie again.
But it's like, what's his name? Tiger Woods. When all the shit came out of about Tiger, people were like, how could Tiger Woods be corrupted? It's like, yeah, he's a billionaire, dude. Of course he has this like huge.
Do you understand how much pussy is thrown at you? And I only have so much defense tactics.
Yeah.
Like
They're gonna wear me down.
This isn't the Iron Dome, right? Like I can't fight off all. Like crazy. When a guy gets that much pussy, it's hard to be like, get away. Eventually, something breaks through.
This isn't the Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome.
Yeah, I'm more of like the border wall, right? Like if you're gonna sneak
gaps.
through, there's gonna be some people gonna sneak through.
Craziness, honestly, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Fame is a fucking, they say it's a drug, right? It's like it clouds so much.
What was the first time you got gassed up when you started building a momentum?
The first time it was very gradual, because even though I popped on social media over the course of about like a year or year and a half, before that I was like doing shows in the city, and I was just doing like little fucking open mics, and then I was doing a little bit bigger shows. Then you get recognized like once every 2 months. Like someone's like, hey, I saw you at this place, you're funny, da da da. And that happened. And then when I popped, it was like COVID, so you weren't going out a lot. And so I would go out every now and again, and then once every 2 weeks it would be a person. And now it's every day.
Oh wow.
But
sick.
When you said city, that's not Toronto. You're doing stand up in New York?
No, this is Toronto. This was all my whole come up was in Toronto, and then I moved to New York like a year and a half ago.
Oh,
yeah.
just recently you moved to the city.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, dude.
Yeah.
What were your favorite places in Toronto? Like club wise, like to go out?
Club wise, there's this little tiny club that's like maybe a 40 seater that it's called the Corner Comedy Club. That was the place that like I really like cut my teeth and it was the first club to give me like real stage time, and I would like bark for them. Barking's like when you go out and you hand out flyers to get a spot on the show. I barked. I did all this shit. I like fucking, that was my like grind to get like good weekend spots in front of a real crowd so I could really start like working on my craft, and that's made me so much better of a comedian.
How old were you when you started?
20, I think. I think it was like December of 2013 or 2012. Yeah.
Do you remember your first joke?
My first joke. I did write a joke in high school. I started because I did public speaking in high school and like made it funny. That was kind of like my first taste of something like that. And my first joke I ever writ was ass. Do you guys even know what Buckley's is? It's a very Canadian thing. You know Buckley's?
I'm thinking Bucky's. Sorry, what's Buckley's?
Buckley's is a cough medicine that's very popular in Canada, and their tagline is "It tastes awful, but it works." And I wrote something like "Eating pussy is like Buckley's. It tastes awful, but you'll get used to it." So I think that was the first joke I ever wrote. How old were you?
20?
No, when I wrote that, I was like probably 16.
That's
17.
the best part because at 16, eating pussy is like weird, right? You're like, ew, it's like. What is that, like salmon? What is that fishy shit, right? You get older, you're like, pussy's delicious.
Also, a 16-year-old saying something like that, people are like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, like, sick. I mean, obviously, once you hit that like first reaction, it's amazing. I always wanted to do comedy.
I don't know why you don't do it.
Pussy, but the reason why also I don't like how when I first started coming out. Like I have a more of like Andrew Schultz kind of vibe, like New York.
You say he's gay?
He said coming out.
No, I'm saying I have more like aggressive kind of like white boy New York kind of humor.
Yeah.
And as you know, during COVID and everything else, and even before that, I just saw how the social norms were really not accepting of that.
Yeah.
And I just saw that the hill is too high for me to climb.
Nah.
I mean, dude, it's like they do it, right? It's just about.
Like I was on a TV show, I did a reality TV show, and the open liner were like, "Yo, introduce yourself and like do one." Open line. And I said, okay, cool. So I come out. I'm one of the first people. And I'm like, hey, I'm a barber from Brooklyn, New York. I'm looking for long-term bangs.
Yeah.
Bangs or banks?
Bangs.
Like bangs.
Yeah, because, you know, the hair.
Yeah.
So everybody started laughing. They loved it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're not using that. That's derogatory. It's raunchy. And next thing you know, the guy after me says, especially on the next season, he's like, my name is Deke. He's like something about I have a big heart but a small Deke or some shit like that. And they let that shit air. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, this is like a favor game. Like they're playing, you know what I mean? And I kind of these kind of things just get me so mad. I'm like, yo, I don't even.
Yeah, but do you relinquish control when you go on someone else's production? A comedian like Andrew Schultz or him.
Well, no
one's censoring you. You can be like, I can stand behind my words if I think they're funny, right? They're not coming from hate. They're coming right. That's why, dude, Bill Burr. After the whole Philadelphia incident, stopped doing white comedy clubs and was like, I'm going to only do black comedy clubs in New York to learn how to converse with a black audience, how to properly navigate humor without it being racist, but it can still toe that line of offensiveness and silliness and play with those nuances. Yeah. Right? So you could do it, dude. You have the confidence.
No?
It's never too late. Rodney Dangerfield didn't become famous till fucking 60.
Dude, so many dudes joined the game late, man. There's two of these, some of the biggest guys running right now. There's H. Foley and Kevin, Are You Garbage? Ryan. The Are You Garbage guys. Are You Garbage, massive podcast. H. Foley, I don't think he started stand-up until he was in his 30s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and those guys are like fucking, they have one of the biggest podcasts going right now.
It might have been harder back in the day without social media because you're like doing the old school methods, even like you're saying, like the barking and like having to like beg to get times, blah, blah, blah. But now if you can come up with decent content and, you know, put it online, you can build a following.
I guess I know my issue. I guess it becomes more of like a lifestyle thing. Like I got to make it because comedy is not something you just like. It's not like fixing cars here and there. Like you got to fucking either do it or
it's all consuming.
And you have to be a road dog, right? You have to be willing to be like, yo, I'm playing a weekend in Omaha and I'm alone. And, you know, you have to be comfortable going through that process.
It is a whole different lifestyle. But like if you want to do it, I mean, like you can try it and then go do some mics and go do some shows, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's better than just like sitting around and being like, oh, I wish I did that thing.
I did it. Why don't you do it at our party? We have 200 people coming on Friday.
Not at the party. I gotta go to.
I would advise against that as well.
Yeah, I'm good, bro, because they're gonna remember me as the fucking neck. I'd rather just go to like a club where nobody knows me and just fucking try a couple times.
Also, there's nothing like bombing in front of 200 of your friends and then having to hang out with them.
And they're all like, that was good. That wasn't bad, right? Everyone's just lying.
Yeah, and I'd rather just practice
like,
on fresh
model.
souls. On fresh souls.
Yeah,
fresh souls.
You should do it, dude.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, do it.
Always say I might. And it's been years. I'm not gonna.
Dude, Larry David used to have like stories I heard back when like I worked at Caroline's. They would say that he would show up, look at the crowd, and just go, nah, not tonight, and leave.
Larry David is one of the most chaotic people in stand-up. Like when he had his short stand-up stint, but there's crazy stories about him like screaming at the crowd, being like, "You're fucking awful. You're terrible," and like just snapping. Like he's Larry David.
Yeah,
that's his character on Curb is like only so much character.
Right. The SNL firing story, the quitting story is so good. Him quitting from SNL and then showing back up on Monday like it never happened.
Yeah.
And being like, all right, I hope no one noticed.
It's like getting in a fight with your best friend.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, you just have to fucking wash it off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude. It's. I think comedy, in my opinion, is one of the more brave lanes in entertainment.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Because you know why? Because you're a one-man band.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you are going against the whole grain, especially socially.
Yeah.
You're going against the whole grain, even financially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So considering those things, I think it's one of the more brave moves because nobody's really there to baby you, right? You got to kind of like self-manage yourself. You got to always self-manage your own jokes. Everyone's hating on you. The people you're around, they're fucking, well, his jokes are better, they're worse. And you become, and it's like literally a reality TV show every day. You're just fighting somebody for a spotlight, bro.
And your peers roast you because that's part of building a skill, right? Imagine you're a musician and you get in a room and someone's like, "Yo, you fucking suck at guitar."
Yeah.
And you have to be like, what? Blah, blah, blah. You have to fucking
right.
say.
As a even a rapper nowadays, you got so many fucking layups. Like you can go AI, you can do this, you can do that, all this engineering, all this shit. You can just build it all out. Like as a comic, when you're on that stage, bro, you're dolo. You're not coming home to nobody. You know
that's why it's really hard to cancel a comedian because they don't need anyone else to do their job, right?
That
you
is
get
true.
canceled as Brad Pitt because you used, for example, the N-word, right? He's getting canceled. No one's making movies with him, right? But you, like Louis or anyone, could be like, oh, whatever. I just need a microphone and a venue.
As long as people are buying tickets, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
But you see, but that's. Oh, it's a very brave entertainment.
Well, it's brave because you can't blame anyone else for your failures, right? It's like you have to own it yourself. That's why it hits you
sometimes harder,
right? Because
you can't put your fingers at nobody.
If you're a part of a bad movie, you blame everybody else. You're like, the writing is bad. Blah, blah, blah. You're like, I wrote this. It's incredibly personal. It's like reading your diary on stage.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've never considered it like brave, but it is it is very like isolating isn't the right word, but you are doing it all on your own. You're making your own clips, you're doing your own thing, and then other people will come on board once the train is moving. Then
it's brave for me because I have the biggest fear for failure. Right. So to me, it's brave. To you, maybe you don't look at failure as the way I do. I look at failure like, yo, if I get to 60 and I don't have accolades or I don't have a certain number, or numbers don't lie for me. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like interested in the Drake beef and the Kendrick stuff, this and that, because it becomes like a thing of who's better. Like it's a competition thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why it's brave for me.
See, for comedy, my vision has always been just to be as unbelievably funny as possible, and usually that turns into success. But there's some very, very funny comics who were still like, I don't know, you're not poor, but you weren't like the guy. But as long as I'm extremely skilled at what I do, then I'm
let me give you an example, right? Going with what you just said, Godfrey.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking talented.
Yeah.
We're talking about like this guy honestly might be like Jamie Foxx of comedy, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He's insanely good. Never got the fucking hit.
Doing the same jokes for 20 years.
He never got the hit.
Godfrey had, for one, Godfrey did have a moment. He was fucking...
He was the 7-Up guy.
He was Iago.
But not like, bro, I feel like he
Gilbert
was
Godfrey. He's talking about Black Godfrey.
Oh, Black Godfrey.
Godfrey.
Okay,
yeah. Gilbert Godfrey is a legend.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm talking about the Black Godfrey because if we look at all the, as far as animated, as far as wit, as far as sharpness, but even like just the voices, everything. But yeah, maybe I guess the jokes haven't changed. But even if the jokes haven't changed,
I don't know. I've never been up to date on Godfrey stuff, but I do like Godfrey is an anomaly where because he was around all the guys as everyone was blown up. He was around a lot of people as all these things were taken off. But he's still, I think he's in his late 40s, early 50s. Like there's still.
I'm not saying that he's still big.
You got to Chappelle explained this inside the Actors Studio. He's like, name your price. Name your price as a comedian, right? He said, my dad said, like, is this what you really want to do in life? And he said, well, if I can make a living being a comedian for the same salary as being a teacher, like that could be enough for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, just name your price right away.
Like Godfrey, he's like, no, he's not doing like Chappelle numbers or Kevin Hart or something, but he's probably clearing like $1 million a year.
Oh, he's definitely doing well.
Yeah. So he's not a household name, but
he's doing like, he's not worrying about where his growth.
He's clearing a Milski?
Probably. I would think maybe even more.
20 grand a week if he does a weekend at a comedy club's like pull up his tour schedule. I'm sure he's performing
20 a weekend?
He might be doing more. Like, because if he's doing clubs and he sells out pretty close.
Yeah, there's 8 shows at a club on a weekend. It's not a theater, right? It's like.
So like,
if that's the case,
you'll do 5 because you'll do 2 a night, and so you do like 1 on the Sunday, 1 on the Thursday. He's a 6-show guy because he can sell that many tickets, so he'll do 2, 2, 2, 2.
So then he made it.
And then,
he's made.
He's good.
Yeah,
dude. He doesn't. You don't have to be a household name to be super successful. You know what's a funny thing that Caroline's is closed now, so I can fucking spill some dirt. But this was fucking hilarious about how ticket sales used to work. So we never used to sell tickets at Caroline's.
Yeah,
because they only took reservations.
Yeah,
and then because the check would then contain your ticket price.
Yeah.
Because it was an easier way to inflate tips and blah, 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 right? Like now and automatically you sit down to see a comedian, your bill is already at $80 for 2 people without food and beverage.
Yeah.
So we'd have a reservation book and the club held 300 people. If it was a white comedian, they took 320 reservations.
Yeah.
If it was a black comedian, we took 600.
Because so many people wouldn't show up.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And we'd still have tickets left over.
That's
City,
so
Daddy.
funny.
Yeah, because they'd be like, oh, by the time times come, like it was such a subtle racist thing, but you're like, it's a business move because they're like, you're like, I'm sorry if we're being, but we just got to take more right now.
Hey man, that's the way it goes.
But I think once you switch to ticket sales, you don't have to, right?
Yeah,
and now it's like you can actually see how much like influence someone has.
Yeah.
Are there like religious comics, like people that are like kind of follow religion and they're
I think there's this guy, John Christ, who is a big religious comic. Yeah, literally John Christ. I think that's his name, but he does big numbers. Like his YouTube special did like, I want to say like 3 or 4 million views. Like
he does religious stand-up, or he's just super religious and a comedian?
I think he does clean stand-up that religious people love. What's her name? Taylor Tomlinson. That's how she got her start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Taylor Tomlinson was doing stand-up at all these little places.
I appreciate clean stand-up comedy because I think it's harder in this day and age. If you're funny, like a Brian Regan to me
Brian Regan's
is
amazing.
brilliant because you're like, wow, you made me laugh without going to the bag of fuck, you know.
Sex, this, that. Yeah.
Right. It's just essentially, wow.
But Shane is my guy.
Shane Gillis?
Shane is the guy who I think is like, he's the next Louis Chappelle. Like
I think he's already there.
Yeah, he's like
he's arrived.
He's arrived, but the only thing I would say, like for us, yes, but like I had to tell my sister who Shane Gillis was. Like there's a generation who doesn't know him, who will know him now. He's getting like a Netflix show. He's a good chance he's going to be in movies and shit soon. Like he is in the next 5 years, you won't have to explain who Shane Gillis is.
He needs like 3 more specials to prove that it's not like one-hit wonders, right? To a lot of people,
I wouldn't say 3. 3's a lot. I would say like 1.
No, Louis has like 10 under his belt, right? Like Chappelle has so many. Bill Burr has so many.
But Bill Burr has so many, but there's classics, right? For each like discography, right? If you were to look at like 10, there's probably 2 or 3 where you're like, oh my God, these were insane. You know
and I'm interested to see, because not a lot of guys pop in like their 30s. Like Chappelle did pop in his 30s, but a lot of guys pop in like their like mid 40s. Like a Burr popped in his mid 40s. Louis popped mid 40s.
I think Chappelle popped at like 19.
19, a
and
Chappelle
he
show. I'm thinking.
yeah.
I'm thinking because when he was already in Robin Hood Men in Tights, that was like, all right, you're doing movies.
You're very right on that. But what is Shane going to look like when he gets to like mid 40 stage? Because is he only going to get more potent because he's already so fucking good?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
He's not going away.
He's a beast, though.
He's not going away. That dude has too much. You know what about him is so relatable is like when he talks, you're like, oh, I'm in the basement with my boy who's just ranting and it's silly, right? Like the way he talks, the way you're going to see a lot of comedians copy that style. Because you know how a lot of people are like sound like Dave Attell. A lot of people sound like Chappelle sometimes. A lot of people like have the cadence of Chris Rock because you emulate your heroes. Well, you're going to see Shane's style because it's like frat boy humor, but he plays both sides.
Yes.
Which is so dangerous as a comedian.
What you got to start watching, I've seen comedians do this. It's like when Shane's on stage, he does this like thing where he's holding the mic and he grabs his hand and he does this A lot of people. I am sometimes on stage and I'll catch myself doing it and be like, no, don't fucking do that. Don't do that. Because it's like, it's subconscious, just like get you.
It's like the Mike knee slap that Chappelle does.
Exactly. I think we're a little bit after 3 here. I got a dip.
Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah, no worries.
Dude, do you have anything you want to plug at this point?
Absolutely. When's this coming out?
This will probably come out soon. Probably
Honestly,
in like 2-3
we
weeks.
might actually release this one after our
1 year recap.
Yeah, a 1 year recap.
We should actually release this one tomorrow.
Why? Because you didn't finish the edit of the best of 20 Oscars.
But,
What? Because of relevancy.
the Kendrick and
Yeah, I think it's very on topic. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And then we could do the 1 year after this month.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I mean, there's no structure. I don't give a fuck. Like, who cares?
let's
do whatever.
that, for sure.
2 episodes this week.
Wow. Look at that. What a great guest that you literally ruined all our
I shifted
plans.
everything around.
And then you know what? Actually, it's more work for them because they got to edit and clip it.
Yeah.
But plug anything that you got coming out, your shows or I don't know, Instagram, whatever you got.
I'm in Tacoma this weekend. I'm also going to be in Tempe, La Jolla. What else? There's a couple other things. For all tour dates, go to CheDurena.com. Oh, I'm in New York and Tokyo as well. And for all stuff that's Che Durena related, Che Durena on all platforms, CheDurena. That's pretty much it. Little Dinky News on Twitch and a Kick.
Real quick, I know you got to run, but how the fuck do you do stand up in Tokyo?
So I am just going to Tokyo and just on a fun trip.
Oh, okay.
And there's one English-speaking club in Shibuya called Tokyo Comedy Bar. I have a few friends who've done it, and they're like, "Oh, you should hit them up. It's a little like 60-seater." And so I hit them up, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to headline?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck, of course I want to headline in Tokyo."
Right.
So I'm going to do a show over there.
Shane Gillis and Dan Soder had a thing on a podcast where they discussed it'd be awesome to like do a foreign country and then lie and say that they're going to do it in the country's native language too. Like, oh my God, like imagine killing in Mandarin and Shane's like, I'll just go up there, be like, ching chong, bing bong. And like,
There it is, boys.
dude, that was awesome. Like
Awesome,
I could have flown
Yeah, I
for
know.
like hours. You got to come back. You got to come back again and visit us, dude.
100%.